Hello, ladies. This is Anna Laura Brown of AnnaLauraBrown.com and host of the Autoimmune Rehab podcast. Today, I am going to give you 20 different ideas of things that you could do for a self-care day. Now, depending on how much time you take up with some of these things, you may spend an hour or two and then, have time to do 4 or 5 of these things in one day. Or some of these things may take up a full day of self-care, or, some things could potentially take up to a whole week of self-care. And hopefully some of these ideas are a little bit different than maybe some that you've already heard before. So stay tuned, and here we go without any further ado. Number 1, take a nice, long, relaxing bath or shower. Personally, with the bath, I like to use some kind of like a bath bomb or some bath salts to help with the pain and muscle relaxing, and it just makes for a nice environment. Or you can use like a shower steamer or some kind of like eucalyptus essential oil in the shower or the bathtub. Ideally, if you're going to do it in a bath, you want to mix it in a bath bomb because eucalyptus is kind of a hotter essential oil. But anyhow, whatever method or way you choose to do it, taking a nice, long, relaxing, warm to hottish bath or shower can be number 1 idea for you. Number 2, read a book. Like this current book is the book I'm currently reading, The 4 Winds by Kristen Hanna for book club. Or listen to a podcast. Shameless plug, if you haven't checked out my podcast yet, you can go to iTunes or Spotify or anywhere else and search Autoimmune Rehab. I have some really good interview episodes on there and hopefully some other episodes that are really helpful as well. The number 3, write in a journal or do some kind of a gratitude practice. You can even have a separate journal just for gratitude practice. You could even journal, for several hours even by writing down a lot of your goals, a lot of the different things that have happened to you in the last few years. Anything that comes to mind, you can go ahead and put it in your journal. Number 4 would be to do some kind of yoga or meditation practice. You could, in theory, even do, yoga or even go to a yoga class or find a yoga class online that you can take and then also do a meditation practice as well. So, those in theory could be 2 separate things as well. Then number 5, go for a walk or a hike in nature. This especially works really well when it's in warmer weather. I don't know about you, but I don't love hiking for large periods of time when it's really cold outside, like it is right now. As of the date of filming this video, I'm filming this video in February in Utah, so, it's a little cold for too long of a walk or a hike, but I like to still go outside for a short walk, maybe up to 10 minutes, depending on whether or not it's snowing or not, even in the winter, because, let's face it, we need the vitamin D, we need the exercise, the movement, we need to get outside and get that fresh air in our lungs. Okay, number 6, cook a healthy meal or try a new recipe. And this is another one that could take a while because you could technically even try multiple new recipes throughout the day, or, just spend some time going through some cookbooks and exploring what kinds of recipes you think that you would like to try, some different ones that you have never tried before. Obviously, since I'm coming at this from the angle of autoimmune healing, you're going to want to do everything you can to make sure that these recipes are good and healthy for you, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, sticks to whatever diet it is that you are on currently. Number 7 would be to watch a movie or binge a TV show. There's a lot of good series out there that you can binge. Personally, I really like to binge things like The Amazing Race or, other kinds of trivia shows, different things that come out there, Jeopardy even, sometimes I will like to binge. So Family Feud as well is another favorite that I have. So, just find one that you really enjoy that you can watch lots of episodes, and this is another one that could take up one day or several days even. Personally, I don't think it's wise to just lounge around in front of the TV or, doing the binge watching for more than one full day. So, if you have multiple self-care days, then you might want to shake things up a bit, unless, of course, you're doing it because you're sick. Okay, then number 8, get a massage or pamper yourself with a spa day. So, of course, this is probably one of the first ones that you thought of when you thought of having a self-care day. I know it is for me, and this is another one that could either take a couple hours or all day, depending on your budget and what kinds of different treatments you're having. And along with that, you can maybe try a different kind of a spa treatment that you haven't tried before, like a facial. Those have a tendency to be a little bit more expensive, so you know, you just kind of have to take a look as to whether or not you are able to afford that in your budget. But if you can, that's something to consider giving a try. The number 9 would be to practice deep breathing or muscle relaxation. And there are a lot of exercises out there online that you could do for this. Also, if you find the episode that I did with Christine from Willow Therapies on my autoimmune rehab podcast, at the very end, she actually did one of these exercises. So you could listen to that podcast and episode and follow along at the end to the exercise, or, you know, just do it on your own. And this can be somewhat similar to meditation, but it's a little bit different as well. Okay, and so number 10 is to spend some time with a beloved pet. So here you can see I am focusing the camera on my darling, sweet, fun, sometimes mischievous little black schnoodle Daisy. Love her a lot, love to play with her. And if you don't have your own dog or cat that you can play with, you can go find somebody else's. There's usually people out there that would love for you to spend some time with their pet. Or, you know, even volunteer at the Humane Society. That could work as well. And that, you know, could take up a big chunk of the day as well. Number 11, get plenty of rest and sleep. This is another one that I don't really advocate for spending the entire day doing. Most of the time, like I said, unless you're feeling down or just feeling really worn out and sick, then, you know, that can be a good idea. But, you know, maybe get, you know, a full 9 to 10 hours of sleep at night and maybe take another nap. A couple hours during the day, you know, just get a little more sleep than what you normally would get for a day or two, and that can be a really good self-care day idea as well. Okay, then number 12, connect with friends or family over video chat. So this is one that I know a lot of us did during, you know, lockdowns for COVID, that kind of thing, but now that we're out of that, you know, you could still do that too, especially if you have friends and family that live far away. Why not do that? Okay, then number 13 is to try a new hobby or a creative project. So currently I've been learning how to knit, or crochet rather, excuse me. I want to learn how to knit, but it's crochet that I've been doing. And you can see I finally finished this crochet scarf here, and it, you know, considering I haven't crocheted since elementary school, or junior high, can't remember when last time I did it, this is actually not too bad. It's, you know, it's got a little bit of spots that are, how should we say, crooked a little bit, but it's, you know, I mean, it worked okay. And if you don't want to do that, you could do something like experimenting with drawing or painting or pottery. You could either take a formal class or a class online, or just, you know, get some supplies and get busy doing it. Okay, and then number 14 would be to volunteer and give back to the community. Now, this would be one that potentially probably you'd want to spend an entire day doing, so you would find some service project that you could engage in that at the same time, you know, you feel like would also be a form of self-care because you're giving back and doing that service. Okay, then number 15 would be to spend time in gratitude or solitude or quiet reflection. I know personally a really good place that I like to do this is at the Snowbird Resort in the mountains in Utah in July, when my family goes up there every year for a week and just sit outside and look at the mountains. Now, if you don't have mountains near you, or mountains are not really your kind of thing, you could do it on the beach. But, you know, just find somewhere that you can sit in quiet reflection and relaxation. And, you know, in theory, it could even happen at your house as well. This is just a suggestion to get you out into nature a little bit and maybe away from the normal routine while you do your quiet reflection. Okay, number 16 is to plan or take a trip. So, you know, you could spend your self-care day actually planning the trip, and that, in theory, would take a full day if you're like most people, especially if you're like me, because I like to plan out every little tiny detail. Or take a trip, you know, like if you wanted to take just a day-long trip and go somewhere, go for a nice long drive, or, you know, just go somewhere that takes an hour or two to get there and, you know, stay there, do some fun things, maybe check out a new city in your state that's not too far to get to. Anyhow, you get the idea. Or, you know, if you take a full trip, then obviously that's going to be something you want to do for at least a couple days. Okay, then number 17 would be to take a class or learn a new skill. So, you know, this would be could be combined with the crafts, or, you know, you could do some kind of another class or skill that isn't necessarily a craft. Okay, then number 18 would be to practice self-compassion and positive self-talk. This is a big one, and I have, again, like a couple blog posts on my blog at annalarbrown.com, as well as a couple of podcast episodes all about your self-talk and self-love and that kind of thing. This is really, really important, and we just don't do it enough. And so, spend a couple hours or even a full day writing out and talking to yourself and explaining how much you love yourself with self-love and compassion, positive talk, all that kind of thing. Okay, and number 19 would be to exercise or engage in physical activity. And this, of course, is something that you should pretty much be doing every day. But, you could take a self-care day and really do a lot of exercise, that particular day, probably in some different forms, whether you do some swimming in the morning, then maybe in the afternoon you go for a walk, then in the evening you go on your stationary bike, whatever it is, just engage in that activity and make sure that, you really enjoy doing it, and it will be really good for your overall health. Then last but certainly not least, number 20 would be to spend some time in an infrared sauna. This is my personal infrared sauna from Therasage that I got on Black Friday sale last year, and I had actually been paying to go to the infrared sauna place at a place called Restore. I've written a couple of different blog posts about infrared saunas and infrared light. Very, very good and important form of self-care. And, personally, you only would do this no more than twice a day for about 40 minutes. So, this isn't going to take anywhere close to the entire day, but is a really good form of self-care and really, really good for your health. It feels amazing. I'm very glad I bought this infrared sauna in my house so I don't have to leave the house. I can just do it whenever I want. And over time, it's saving me a lot of money as well. Okay, so in conclusion, let me read off the list here. Okay, so number 1, take a relaxing bath or shower. Number 2, read a book or listen to a podcast. Number 3, write in a journal or practice gratitude. Number 4, meditate or practice yoga. Number 5, go for a nap. Go for a walk or take a hike in nature. Sorry about that. Number 6, cook a healthy meal or try a new recipe. Number 7, watch a movie or binge a TV show. Number 8, get a massage or pamper yourself with a spa day. Number 9, practice deep breathing or progressive muscle relaxation. Number 10, spend time with loved ones or pets. Number 11, get plenty of rest and sleep. Number 12, connect with friends or family over video chat. Number 13, try a new hobby or creative project. Number 14, volunteer or give back to the community. Number 15, spend time in solitude or quiet reflection. Number 16, plan or take a trip. Number 17, take a class or learn a new skill. Number 18, practice self-compassion and positive self-talk. Number 19, exercise or engage in physical activity. And number 20, use the infrared sauna. So I hope that you found this list helpful. If you would like even more ideas, I offer a self-care journal for free download that I will link in the description. And then I also have a product that I sell that is 365 days of self-care calendar that actually has a different idea for self-care for every single day of the entire year. So that is, really expansion, and they're completely different, and some of them I guarantee are things that you never thought of. So anyhow, take care. Feel free to like, comment, share this video, and please subscribe to stay tuned for more videos coming at you at least twice a week, sharing with you how you can obtain true autoimmune healing.